Filmed live in Canada, it's Jim's Record Party. Hello everybody, welcome to Jim's Record Party. It's so nice to have you with us today as we look at the Monkees, their first four albums, four number one albums in a row we'll be looking at. The first one, their debut album, The Monkees from 1966, and then the next three from 1967. One album a year, one album every 5 years, not these guys. 3 albums in 1967. Really a creation of Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, whose father was the head of Screen Gems Television, which was a division of Columbia Pictures. So they had an in with television. And they came up with this idea largely based on the Beatles' Hard Day's Night. Ran an ad of which only one of the Monkees actually saw. Michael Nesmith was the only man who actually saw the ad, replied to an audition, "Madness auditions folk and role musicians, singers for acting roles in new TV series, running parts for 4 insane boys aged 17 to 21, want spirited Ben Franks types, have courage to work, must come down for interview." Well, Davy Jones was already under contract. Mickey Dolenz came in through the back door. He had been a young actor riding a elephant, and he was soon brought into the fold. Peter Tork was told about the situation in the audition through Steve Stills, who had auditioned and was interested in the project under the pretense that they would use his original material. But Rafelson and Schneider were not interested in using Stephen Stills' material and using him as an actor. So Steve was not interested, and he went on to form bigger and better things: Buffalo Springfield, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Originally a project meant for the Lovin' Spoonful, but for whatever reason that deal was not consummated, and therefore led to the auditions for 4 insane boys, 17 to 21. I don't think any of them were under 25. Ben Franks types, that has no meaning, I'm quite sure. Young boys were dreaming of being Ben Franklin in the mid-1960s. I highly doubt it, ladies and gentlemen. Don Kirshner, of course, was head of music for Screen Gems. He was brought in to oversee the entire project. Boyce and Hart and others used as for their songwriting abilities. Boyce and Hart particularly strong and vital to this group, and penned, in fact, the theme song for the Monkees, "Here We Come, Walking Down the Street," and many others. We're just going to briefly look at these albums, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Monkees, released in December 1966. This has a theme from the Monkees, as we say. Saturday's Child, I've always loved that tune. And The Last Train from Clarksville, of course, one of their greatest hits. Mike Nesmith, Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, and Davy Jones, all together known as the Monkees. I'm going to briefly pause for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and let you enjoy this beautiful t-shirt I'm wearing with the design by Phaedra 11 of Timothy from the Banjo Club. The artist Phaedra 11's grandfather has been kicking me under the table, reminding me to let you know that Phaedra 11's designs are available. All details will be in the description below. And Timothy from Banjo Club is but one of her excellent designs. Very well printed on this nice t-shirt. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you wear t-shirts, if you like t-shirts with beautiful designs on them, please have a look at the offerings from Phaedra 11, and please help Phaedra 11's grandfather stop kicking me under the table, and please help young artists and show your support for young artists like Phaedra 11. Now back to the Monkees. More of the Monkees was their second album, released in 1967, January, featuring a cover made up of this may be a bit of a montage of photos from a J.C. Penney advertising clothing campaign. We had always heard that this was from a Sears campaign, and in Canada, these products may have been handled by Sears, as the boys here pose in various shirts and shirt jacks and belts and trousers, all available at your local J.C. Penney store. This is a fantastic album, a strong, strong album. She, Mary, Mary, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, Look Out, Here Comes Tomorrow, and I'm a Believer, plus others. This album is chock full, ladies and gentlemen. January of 67, hard on the heels of the December 66 release of the Monkees. So they were not wasting time. These were meant as soundtracks, these first two albums for the TV series, and used none of the Monkees' musical instrument playing abilities. They were only vocalists on these albums, and all the playing was done by others, including, but not limited to, the Wrecking Crew, mostly the famous LA studio gang. But that would change. Their third album, Headquarters, would find the Monkees playing all of the instruments and singing all of the parts. There are just a couple of exceptions. Chip Douglas was brought in as a producer. Chip Douglas was a pseudonym for a man who had been the bass player for the Turtles originally. Now known as Chip Douglas, was brought in to oversee this album, and it's a very good album and made the Monkees feel good. Has some nice tunes. Forget That Girl, I always love that tune, and You Just May Be the One, another strong Michael Nesmith tune. Headquarters, their third album, their third number one album in a row, leading to their fourth and final number one album in a row, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Limited. By this time, we all knew the Monkees did not play on their own albums. Michael Nesmith had let that cat out of the bag. And they were all in open revolt, and had been since before Headquarters. That's what brought that project online, that they would all play their own instruments and sing and be responsible for the choosing of the songs that appeared on their albums. The Door into Summer, Words, What Am I Doing Hanging Round, another great Nesmith tune, and the hit off this album, Pleasant Valley Sunday. All of these on RCA Victor, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen. And on this album, the Wrecking Crew, Louis Shelton, Glenn Campbell, members of the Byrds, members of the Association, Lowell George, the great slide guitarist and vocalist, founder of Little Feat, of course, Buddy Miles, Steve Stills himself, and Neil Young allegedly all contributed to this album, released in November 1967. Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones was the Monkees' fourth number one album in a row, and would be their final number one album, as they would break up and dissolve into different groupings as one member or another quit, rejoined. Two or three remaining members would tour, sometimes joined by the off member, sometimes not. And then, of course, we lost Davy Jones in 2012, we lost Peter Tork in 2019, and we've lost Michael Nesmith in 2021, leaving Mickey Dolenz as the only remaining Monkee. And you can find his posts and videos and performances posted online, many of them very recently into mid-2024. So keep an eye out for those and pay tribute to the last remaining Monkee, Mickey Dolenz. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us today, and thank you very much for joining me in contributing to young artists' efforts by seeking out works by the artist Phaedra 11. All details are in the description below. And help contribute to her grandfather stopping to kick me under the table as well. It's been my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to be with you today. Thank you for joining me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Please join us again next week at this same time on this same station as we look at more great albums here on Jim's Record Party.